Oh boy, they're doing it again. They're never going to learn, are they? Honestly, I'm talking about Disney Lucasfilm here. The Star Wars sequel trilogy gave us a kind of quasi remake of Episode 4 with The Force Awakens, which I think could have worked better if Han Solo hadn't been so needlessly and brutally killed off. As a result, Luke, Han, and Leia obviously never got to share screen time together. A huge missed opportunity. And The Last Jedi was, well, it was pretty rough, wasn't it? Luke becoming a broken, cynical monk sitting alone on an island waiting to die. What fan wanted that to be his fate? Completely undeserving to a very much loved character. And the opening scene where he takes the lightsaber from Rey and just throws it over his shoulder. To many fans, that was symbolic of what was wrong with Star Wars at that point, which is that the film just tried to subvert fan expectations to the point where the film felt like it was merely wearing the veneer of Star Wars. The heart and soul of the legacy of the story was just missing. It was hardly surprising that it underperformed at the box office as a result. Finally, there was Rise of Skywalker, and I think it tried to compensate a little bit. They were trying to play it a bit more safe, maybe a little bit too safe, reducing the film to being a somewhat adequate but ultimately bland and paint by numbers generic conclusion that felt like the writers were trying their best to not make mistakes as opposed to trying their best to tell a great story. Since then, Disney Lucasfilm have focused on mostly Star Wars TV series with mixed results and a few duds here and there, including the most recently panned and cancelled Acolyte TV series. Now, a Rey movie has been in the works, but now there might also be a new trilogy. So again, oh boy, Star Wars feels like a franchise with no new ground left to break. But here we go again, with potentially 3 more films. This article is from Empire.com. Star Wars movie trilogy reportedly coming from Simon Kinberg. 10 years ago today, Disney and Lucasfilm celebrated principal photography finishing on the first film in their new Star Wars trilogy, revealing its name, The Force Awakens, to the world and spawning a gazillion fan theories in the process. Now, 1 decade, 5 films, a fistful of Disney Plus series, and a whole lot of online discourse later, today appears to mark the beginning of a bold new chapter for the universe George Lucas built. Per Deadline's reporting, Lucasfilm and Disney have sealed a deal for X-Men franchise alumnus and Rebels co-creator Simon Kinberg to write and produce an all-new trilogy of Star Wars movies. Whilst Deadline were initially led to believe that Kinberg's new trilogy would comprise episodes 10 through 12 of the Skywalker saga, industry insiders have since repudiated that intel, instead suggesting that these 3 new movies will in fact mark the beginning of a new saga entirely within the Star Wars franchise. That mightn't be a bad thing at all. And whilst at this stage no filmmakers, actors, plot details or titles are in the mix for Kinberg's proposed trilogy, with the High Republic era now firmly established both on page and screen, the New Republic era set to continue being explored in the upcoming Skeleton Crew series, and plans still afoot to explore what comes next for Daisy Ridley's Rey in a new Jedi Order movie. There are no shortage of exciting directions the franchise could shoot off in next. Now, what I will say is, if Star Wars can finally innovate beyond the Luke and Anakin Skywalker story arc, which has ultimately been at the heart of all of the prequel movies and TV series, as well as the sequels, I think that's what it needs to do. It's this legacy story that binds everything together, and Star Wars just doesn't seem to want to get away from it. Maybe there's a chance if they go off and do something new, like a totally new direction for the universe to explore. And that could be a great thing. But is there an appetite there among the fan base at this point, particularly when you consider how lackluster just underwhelming Star Wars has been in recent years. And also, I would argue, divisive in many respects. I just don't think the franchise has ever been able to top the first three movies. And I'm probably in the minority here as well, but I was not a fan of the prequels. I thought they were cringe, childish, campy, and kind of goofy. That's not going to be popular for me to say for sure. I certainly didn't like the sequel trilogy, like I say. Personally, I think Star Wars was a satisfying, contained trilogy. Told across three movies, I think that was the absolute height of the franchise. Most everything that's come since then feels like a little bit of a retread, and I just don't think the same level of imagination is there anymore. Now, unless there's some major new thematic departure for the franchise going forward, I'm not convinced that this new trilogy will be any better than recent Disney Lucasfilm productions that we've seen in recent years. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Are you looking forward to this potentially? Also, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.